ladies and gentlemen, here's the story of Haunted Widrick Room Number 1. Okay? Now, way back in 1946, when the FFA bought the camp, a young ag teacher and his wife and her little bitty baby came up here to start troubleshooting the facility, trying to figure out what they use for program or what type of maintenance things they had to do. They had a whole bunch of things they had to figure out about the property. And this guy came up in early May and stayed in this room with his wife and his little baby. I don't even know how many months old this baby was, but apparently it was pretty little. And they stayed up here in this room. And now at this point, there was no neighbors living here year-round. There were no electricity up here. There wasn't, whatever they had for food and resources, what they brought with them for that trip. Well, that night they were staying up here, and they had apparently an oil lantern and all that. And there was some sort of remnant of a bed up here, and they stayed on that. And as the night went on, after they'd gone to sleep, a lightning storm rolled in. Now, if you've ever been to a lightning storm at Oswegatchie, lightning storms can be pretty intense up here, okay? Pretty intense. I mean, like real heavy-duty lightning. Well, when you look out over the pond, it can be very spectacular of a view because you have the flashing of the lightning and reflecting off the pond. It gives you a pretty good view. So apparently the ag teacher, he set up and he decided to watch the storm. Well, the storm was getting more and more intense. Flash, 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 flash. He looked out the window and he saw a little boat coming down the pond. And he kept watching it, flash, flash, flash. The lightning was so bright, he could tell it was a canoe with 2 people in the canoe. And as it got closer, closer, flash, flash, brighter, brighter, flash, he could see in the back was a big burly guy with a big, kind of grizzly-looking beard. And then there was a little guy, kind of younger guy in the front of the canoe, and he came right down through here. And the guy was kind of weirded out by it, kind of getting creeped out because, why would these people be canoeing down the middle of the pond in the middle of the night when there was lightning? And he just sat here watching them, getting more and more nervous, didn't know what to do. And flash, flash, lightning was intense, and then the canoe came right down towards the bottom of the pond here, flash, flash, and the guy was getting really nervous, really uptight. And flash, flash, and then in the flash of lightning, you can see the big burly guy in the back of his canoe pointing his hand right here at this window. And the teacher was really freaking out at that point, didn't know what to do, because who really even know they were up here? And then that canoe just turned around and started going right back down the pond. And flash, 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 flash. Scary. And go right down about the middle of the pond. Then the lightning was flash, flash, and the canoe was there, dark for 5 seconds. Lightning flashed again, flash, flash. The canoe was gone, disappeared. And the guy kept watching all the rest of the night, and he stayed up. He was nervous the entire time, didn't know what was going to happen to these guys. Well, the next morning came around, and they were safe, and they got up, and they got in their car, and they left. And that ag teacher vowed never to come back to this place after that spooky phenomenon. And when he went to town, the Monts North gas station, which has been there for quite a long time, in town, a service station, the old-timer who was working there then told them that they had seen, that phenomenon had been seen on this pond for about 30 years prior to that date. So we're talking 1946. This goes back at least to, 1916 or whatever. And some people said they saw him before that. So very, very spooky thing. Like I said, that ag teacher never came back here. But as the years have progressed, the only time people have seen this phenomenon, this strange happening, is that they spent the night in this room and a lightning storm rolled in, and they actually got up and looked out the window. We've had people look from other windows at night, other windows during the day, during lightning storms, different buildings, but no one else has ever seen this phenomenon. So the real question is it some sort of spiritual happening that's on the pond, some sort of supernatural thing in this building, in this room? Was it the pane of glass that was here? We just replaced this window, so you imagine the same window was probably in this window for probably 30, 40 years. Who knows what could have been the source of it? And they talk about a lot of times ghosts or spirits are actually people's, their soul or ghost, which can't pass on because that's unfinished business. And you talk about lumberjacks being a very dangerous profession now. You go back 100 plus years ago, and it was a very dangerous profession then. There was many people who died in this building here because it took a day and a half just to get to town 100 years ago. So if you believe in that type of thing, I think Widrick is the perfect place for that type of energy. Even the last person who owned this camp before the FFA got it had put his boots up on his desk to take a little break, and he died of a heart attack right at his desk. So if you believe in that type of thing, pretty interesting place. And that's the story of Widrick, room number 1.